Oh, sugar honey iced tea. It's the EAC Show.
Good day, ladies and gents. I'm Emilio A. Colon.
And I am Marcus Mack, and this is the EAC Show coming to you from sunny South Florida with episode 70.
Joining us on episode 70, this Epic Friday episode, UCF activists, overall sports enthusiasts, the big one, Cameron Dinnan, has returned. Cameron, good to see you.
Let's go. You know I had to come back on. I'm not even the biggest baseball fan, but any sort of sports coming back into our life, you know I had to jump on. What's going on, fellas?
Listen to me. I was like a kid in a candy store today with all this damn baseball all over the place.
Just for the
I
record,
am so happy.
It's definitely Fuck It Fridays.
Yes, it's definitely fucking Fridays.
Absolutely.
I'm happy. I'm wearing my Mets polo, my Mets hat, Marcus Mack is in his Blue Jay stuff. I know you've been betting on baseball nonstop, Cameron. We are so excited that we have a major sport finally back. Literally, as we're doing the show, I'm watching the games that's going on.
I know. I've had it on the TV the entire time.
He was watching LeBron in that scrimmage the other night.
The scrimmages still haven't done it for me yet, Marcus Mack. Honestly, I'm not into it yet. I'm and I don't know how you feel about it, Cam. But those NBA scrimmages, I can't get into them yet because I know they're not really worth anything yet.
Correct. Yeah, they haven't done too much for me. I've watched one or two of them. As you know, I went out last night with a couple buddies. One was on the TV. They're just not as. I mean, I'm sure once playoffs get kicked off, I'm going to be a little bit more invested in it. But as of now, I'd rather watch baseball.
I think for me the biggest part was just watching the new court and watching the guys play and everything is fresh. It was just kind of the excitement part for me.
We said it in the last episode, Cameron, it's basically 2K on TV.
It's exactly what it is.
Yeah, it feels like that too with the whole bubble and the barber shop that they have there and the cooks. It literally feels like a 2K lobby room that people are walking around with. I know a lot of people say that, but that's exactly how it feels.
When I was watching it, it actually looked like the game for a second.
Yeah, that's what it does. 100%. But listen, so excited that we have one of the four major sports coming back. Last night was opening night. Today is opening day. So excited. My Mets won 1-0. I'm happy as shit. You have no idea. This is a tradition that's passed down from my family, and I'm able to pass it down to my kids as well. We literally, I'll take them out of school. We'll go to the game. We'll watch the game. I had hot dogs, Cracker Jacks, soda, cheeseburgers. Like, I made it seem like we were literally at the ballpark just watching the game in my house because I wanted that feel more than anything else, Cameron and Marcus Mack.
Yeah, that's a beautiful thing. I saw your video. It's nice to get the kids involved in a family tradition that you said your father brought down to you. I mean, that's what it's about, man. A lot of people, I was watching the Dan Le Batard show. We're a big fan of that program as well. And I saw they were like, people will literally take off work for opening day. It's like the weirdest cult following that opening day in baseball has. And it's true. People feel that way and it's exciting. So I'm with you on that.
There's a swag about baseball that even if you don't play the sport, you will wear a baseball hat. You will wear a baseball jersey. It's just facts. Marcus Mack is pure evidence of that.
I'm a walking example of that.
Straight up.
My point exactly. How many conversations, Cameron, have you and I had with Marcus, and Marcus is wearing some fly jersey and has no clue who's on the back of the jersey?
Yeah, majority of times we're doing this show. Before we got on, he asked if Mike Trout was a pitcher. I mean, I'm not shit. God bless his soul. I mean, he looks fresh as fuck, but
he asked if Mike Trout pitches. That's what he meant to say. Like,
I was like, also. Does he pitch? Like, because I know
does he also pitch?
Positions. Like, what position does he play?
Oh my God, that's hilarious. That's hilarious. But listen, I'm so happy that baseball's back. There's a lot of baseball going on today, tomorrow, Sunday. It's just so exciting. And it was literally brought down, Marcus, your favorite guy, Mr. Manfred. It was announced today that they're actually going to expand the playoffs. So this is something that they were discussing back when they were negotiating this whole COVID-19 situation and back and forth with the labor talks. And Manfred laid down the law and chopped them down, told them they're only playing 60 games. That's it. It is what it is. We're not agreeing to nothing. And then it comes out today that the playoffs are going to be expanded. So 2 extra teams are going to get in the playoffs, and there's going to be money divided. And if there's fans, there's even going to be more money divided. So this is something that they did back then that ended up getting agreed to later on, Marcus.
Man, that's why this seems like one of those things where you got in trouble for something, and then you finally did something right, and your dad gave you something back.
Like,
that's
like he took the PlayStation controller from you and then he gave it back to you later on?
Yeah, that's what it feels like.
I mean, Cam, what do you feel about the playoff expansion?
I love it, to be honest with you. I love the fact that we're not only getting more meaningful baseball, which is added, in fact, with another 2 teams in the playoff format, but I think this year there's a lot of bad things that have happened because of this COVID-19 pandemic. But one of the good things that has happened, at least in the sports world, is that we're starting to find out that we're able to change some things that we didn't think we could change in the past. Like you talk to all the baseball purists that, watched their great grandfather's baseball who wouldn't want it any other way, like 182 games, that's the way it's supposed to be. Like, I know they've tried to change it in the past, and I'm not saying make it 60 games a year every year, but make it 100 games. You know what I mean? Cut the regular season by 40%. Like, you not only can add more playoff teams when you do that and have different ideas, but you're making each regular season game more expensive. These games mean more now because it's more of a race. Whereas 182 games, you can lose a random Tuesday afternoon game in the middle of August, and it's not a big deal. So
I'm gonna alley-oop this. I'm gonna alley-oop this to Marcus Mack because this is right in Marcus Mack's alley because this has to do with money. Marcus, explain why it's a bad idea to do that.
I mean,
more games, more money.
It takes away from the content for me. I honestly feel like less games. I think we need to keep the games going. Like, we need to keep the 100 and some odd games. What is it, 160 something games?
The more games, the more chances to make money in the stadiums, with sponsorships, with media revenue and stuff like that. There's no way, there's no chance in hell that Major League Baseball is going to do anything where it reduces games unless there's a pandemic situation. If anything, baseball probably wants to fit more games so they can charge more money.
Yeah, that's right. I think especially, with the leverage they have with the media companies that they do business with their own media ownership, I just think to cut back on the games mean to cut back on content, like you said, to cut back on people sitting in those seats and the revenue that they make off of that. 40% of their revenue is made from people sitting in those seats. That's what's projected, right? 40% is a very large number, which I don't.
But you got to remember, the owners are shady. So they say 40%, but they're never willing to open their books and show you that it's exactly 40%.
I don't think it's 40%. I think it's less. But but we gotta, let's really call it what it is. We really believe that media and merch, which baseball merch, I believe, is definitely sold more outside of the stadium than it is in the stadium.
Imagine, Cameron, and you know this. The Yankee hat, the LA Dodger hat, the Boston Red Sox hat, the Chicago Cubs hat. Those are hats that you see everywhere in the world.
Iconic.
Yeah,
if you're from any one of those states, you own one of those hats.
Right. You can go to UK, you can go to Japan, you can go to China. You will find at least one person in some way, shape, or form wearing a Yankee hat.
You're not going to see anybody from Chicago wearing a Chicago Bull. Wait, no, never mind. I lied. You're not going to see anybody.
Look, he's wearing a Yankee hat right now for you guys that are listening on the show, not watching on YouTube. Cameron wanted to make sure that I was right with my point. He went and put on his Yankee hat as we speak.
Listen,
so now this officially has become a Major League Baseball show.
I was going to say the funny thing about Chicago Bulls hats is because of the different colorways with the Jordan sneakers. So that was a bad example. But let's just say New York. You're going to see a New Yorker wearing a New York Yankees hat or even a New York Mets hat. You're not going to see anybody wearing a New York Knicks hat or, you understand what I'm saying? Or a Brooklyn Nets hat. You're not going to see that, a New York Rangers hat. No.
Listen to me. It's just the swag of baseball.
A baseball hat is fashion. That's the staple. A baseball cap is definitely the staple.
Absolutely.
Listen, like Jay-Z once said, I made the Yankee hat more famous than a Yankee can. I mean, that's exactly That's exactly what it's all about. Like, it's about
Because that's the
marketability,
swag.
I think
and
Jay-Z,
productability.
I think Jay-Z's head is too big for that line.
Yeah, it now is too big for that line. But that was an old man's line right there when he was first coming up. But back to the original point, like, yeah, like for these money hungry leaders of the MLB, you want as much money as possible. You want as many games as possible. But as a casual baseball fan like myself, the majority of baseball fans, they watch, like we said a couple months ago, they watch the first couple months of opening day to like throughout the summer, and then they start getting hot and they start watching September to October when the playoffs start, and they kind of forget to keep up with 180 something games throughout those middle months. And even though you're making money with people going to the stands, it's like a watered down version almost. If you make it 100 games and bite the bullet and don't get as much ticket sales and things like that from the amount of regular season games, you make it more interesting, I think, at least.
So Marcus and I spoke to Sean Anderson and Mike Schwerin. Both of those guys have games today too, by the way. And Marcus, you said it best too. Yeah, you said it best. You said to Sean, what did he feel like about the hot mics on the field? Now, I feel like the more access, the better. Like, we need to hear what's really going on the field. But if you add hot mics, and if you even add betting odds to the live game, to where, like yesterday, for example, I saw on the Pat McAfee show, shout out to those boys in their show, Pat and the boys hit a bet that was plus 2,500 on Aaron Judge hitting a double, and he hit a double, and they went ape shit on the show. That was happening live.
Yeah, but I don't think MLB should have anything to do with those bets. I think that
of course it's a revenue stream.
Yeah, nah, I don't think they would though. I don't think they would touch that. Honestly,
are you crazy? It's happening. Tell them, Cameron, it's happening.
MLB is way too conventional to touch that directly.
You're wrong. Oh, hold on. A couple of years ago, the MLB came out as one of the first pro sports leagues to have a partnership with an online betting website.
Oh, yeah.
That's a real thing. Baseball is now becoming, and you even heard Pete Rose come out and say all this like a year or two ago, like, look at where the sport's heading now, to where now our analysts are even talking about certain lines and betting props, right? Gambling. And look where I'm at, still out of the the Baseball Hall of Fame because of my act in gambling. So
Marcus, just imagine how much more money Major League Baseball will bring in if you allow the casinos to come in and be sponsors. The casino lines will be brought to you by Caesar's Palace. Like, they can sit there and they can just promote Caesar's Palace, and Caesar's Palace could take all these gamblers and make them Caesar's Palace gamblers. And the next thing you know, you got people betting on baseball games with the association with Major League Baseball.
I like that.
Yo, how was Aaron Judge hitting a double plus 2,500?
Because it's
he
a
hit
live
like
bet.
2 of them yesterday. Oh, it was a live bet? Oh, so it was probably like after his like second at bat or something.
Yeah, it's a live bet.
Wow, I got to look out for that. That's fucking.
It's all over social media. They went nuts. It was plus 2,500.
When you first said it, the first thing I thought about was MLB having its own like its own, not touting company, but like its own betting type of service. And I'm like, no.
Oh, no. They would always partner up, because it doesn't make sense to start it on your own. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. Like, you know what I'm saying? There's no reason to do that. There's no reason.
Yeah. I don't think
to spend the money on infrastructure and all that nonsense.
Already solid. They're already solid. I don't even think they would even go in that direction. But when you put it like that, when you say like, that definitely makes a lot of sense. Because not for nothing, I think as far as betting goes, MLB baseball is probably like the leading sport as far as betting goes.
Not necessarily, no.
You think so?
No, it's football. It's definitely football.
Yeah.
Definitely.
How many games does football have a season?
It's not that it's how many games, it's how active bettors you have. Like, for example, there's more bettors betting on football than any other sport.
College as well. The Super Bowl is the most bet on game in per year. It's definitely football, but you would think with the amount of games that baseball has, that it would be a very close second. And the amount of degenerates.
The problem
Right.
is, and this is the biggest problem with baseball. I'll just break it down to you when it comes to gambling. The disparity on how good the good teams are in comparison to how bad the bad teams are is too big of a difference. It's too big of a gap. So, for example, if let's say you have the Yankees playing the Royals, the Yankees most likely are going to be either minus 250 or minus 300 to win $100. So that's the problem, that people don't want to risk that type of money. Where in the NFL, you'll get a game and it'll be -7, but it's minus 110 to win 100. So you'll risk $110 to win $100. So that's the difference. That's, you have more likable bets in football than you do in baseball.
Correct. It's in baseball, yeah, you like usually the team that has the best pitcher for that given night will win the game, but it's way too like the bats can get hot for like the Orioles versus the Dodgers one night. It's way too erratic.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, look, not for nothing, revenue is very, very important, Marcus, Mack, and Cameron. And as we're talking about revenue, and shout out to Marcus. Marcus, your last episode that you put together, that you edited, the Mookie Betts episode, round of applause to you. You fucking deserve that shit. Good job, buddy.
Big shout out to Mookie Betts, man.
Mookie Betts, I just got details of his actual contract. Yo, he is going to be getting paid from the Dodgers till he's 52 years old, the year 2044.
Whether he's on the field or not.
He has $115 million of deferred money in that contract.
So what's the situation? Like, let's say he retires at 35. How much money is he getting a year until he's 52?
I'm going to tell you that right now, as a matter of fact, because Mookie, it's kind of weird. He's getting his $65 million signing bonus, but they're stretching it out. So it's not like he's getting 65 up front, which is normally what you would end up getting. The Dodgers are constructing it to where it's more like $5 million payments for so many years.
What do you mean? So like every 5 years he'll get a $5 million? Like, what do you mean by that?
No.
So Mookie's supposed to make 20.
Go ahead.
So Mookie's supposed to make $27 million this year, right?
Correct.
Okay, so you add 27, his regular salary of 27, add 5 to that.
Okay, and that's
now
for every year.
Take off that 5 that you added, take off from his $60 million signing bonus.
Okay, so every year he's just getting an additional $5 million bonus per se.
Exactly.
Until that's up. Wow.
So in 2021, which is next year, he actually takes a pay cut. He gets $17.5 million, but then he gets the $5 million.
Okay.
So that's
nice
10 of his 65 already.
That's a nice little signing bonus. At my job, the bonus is usually like a pizza party every other Friday. So that's a nice little bonus. Good for him.
He has 13 years of $5 million signing bonuses.
I think this deal was a result of what occurred this year with the money that they lost, and obviously with thinking about up and coming shortcomings or whatever, or what can occur and what can transpire. And it's like, hey, listen, we'll give you a deal to where we'll give you a lump sum of money now and a little bit of money until you die.
You know what, Marcus, that's a great way of putting it. You're basically saying that because of what happened with the COVID situation and so forth, the season being short, and then them thinking long term, they were like, look, we'll guarantee you this type of money, but we'll guarantee you this type of money and we'll give it to you in chunks.
Yeah.
That way, if something like this comes up again, it's not that big of a hit that we're taking in order to pay somebody like you. Gotcha.
Yeah, because it's not that they don't want to take the hit right now to give them the money. It's just they're saying, well, let's try to stretch out this deal a little bit, and keep you going. And is it like he's getting $65 million now, right, Emilio?
But it's just spread out over time.
Okay, but no, signing bonus, $65 million.
No, the signing bonus is being spread out over time.
Okay, and the $100 million deferred, how does that work? Because he has $100 million deferred, I believe $115 million deferred.
Correct. So what his deal calls for $8 million deferred from the year 2021 to the year 2025. Then it calls for $10 million in both 2026, 2027, and then $11 million in the final 5 seasons. But those monies won't be payable till 2033 until 2044. So in all actuality, the money that's being deferred to him is being pushed back. It's kind of like a COVID payment. So for example, if you don't pay your car payment because of COVID and you call your car company and you're like, hey, you know what, I'm running through tough times, what can I do? They literally take the 2-3 months that you didn't pay or whatever it may be, and they add it onto the back end of the loan.
Right.
It's exactly what they're doing.
Got you.
Just for the record, 2 things I want you to make sure that you explain to the listeners. A, for those that don't know what deferred is.
Deferred meaning just pushing it back.
Okay. And secondly, does this affect any endorsements that he may get?
No, that's totally separate. Totally separate.
And
totally separate.
let's just say he retires after 15 years. He's still getting all of this money. This money is guaranteed money.
Dude, what are you talking about? You know this. I've taught you this, Marcus. Come on.
MLB.
What sport are we talking about? What sport are we talking about?
MLB business airtight.
Shout out to Mookie Betts. I'm glad he got paid. He's going to be getting paid till he's 52 years old. He can literally stop playing for the Dodgers and decide to play for somebody else and earn 2 paychecks. It's almost like a pension and then a salary.
But he's still locked in for 12 years.
He should just stop playing right now and just collect $5 million a year and call it a day. Call it a career.
Well, this part of the show is going to be brought to you by our sponsor, ElCubanoSandwichShop.com. Use the promo code EAC and receive discounts on online pickups or delivery orders. Enjoy a cafe con leche or that natural pre-workout shot of that Cuban coffee to start your day. The daily lunch specials and their steak sandwich is next level. Once again, use the promo code EAC. That's ElCubanoSandwichShop.com. or 954-906-5110. Remember, use the promo code EAC, and that's El Cubano Sandwich Shop in Coral Springs. Marcus Mack, Cameron, the big one, getting on episode 70. We're going to do some discussions on the NFL. The NFL has agreed to open camps for the players, pending the players' approval. This is a really, really big win, Marcus Mack and Cam, because we were worried about the NFL, about what was going on. You know, they're playing a physical sport where there's going to be contact. The NFL, sometimes they're a bunch of derelicts, derelict of the day, right? Marcus Mack. Because how are you going to sit there and tell players they can't switch jerseys, but they can tackle each other for 60 minutes?
I'm waiting to see a fan try to reach out and try to get a jersey from somebody or something. We're going to have security tackle them.
Nah,
did they ever figure out that situation is with NFL? How they gonna work with putting fans in the seats?
Well, they're discussing that. They're trying to figure it out. And Cam, we talked about this a little bit, where you section off people based off of
right
their season tickets, or if there's 8 home games, you allow season ticket holders to come to 4, and the other season ticket holders to come to the next 4. Marcus, you and I have discussed this on previous shows. Yeah. In different countries already, they're allowing 5,000 to 7,000 fans slowly but surely, and then eventually they're going to increase little by little by little. I think that's what's going to end up happening, Cameron.
Right, and I just saw. I mean, I can only speak for the team that I follow. The Packers just increased their season, their seating capacity from 15,000 to 17,000. Just as like things get closer to the season, that these teams are individually gauging, working with their state government, and just gauging how things are going right now, and they'll make decisions as we go here. We're just going to learn by doing. But I'm more concerned about the NFL's, what they're proposing these teams do as far as safety recommendations, because we just saw the Texans and the Chiefs, who are opening our season up this year, so they got to open up their camps before any other teams did, and they were all over on Twitter. J.J. Watt, Patrick Mahomes, saying there's not really a plan in place. They're kind of just like people who wait. They're like kids who wait for the last second to do the homework assignment. Like, they're just now putting this shit together. We're like a month out.
Well, Marcus, you and I spoke about this and we talked about it. We knew for a fact that no deal was going to ever be in place without them testing every day.
Yeah. I mean, the players was requesting it. And they was very adamant about it. They said, man, listen, we don't want to chance anything, getting our families sick. And I think in all leagues, I think that was probably the main thing with the players, man. They don't want to chance it. They'd rather take tests every day, which, same thing we was talking about with MLB. They was talking about doing it every other day or whatever the case may be. NBA has done a great job with the bubble. They're 100% positive. I mean, excuse me, God, 100% negative. The players in NFL just want to make sure that everything is copacetic, man.
I'm going to break this down to you and to Cameron, Marcus, Mack. So I know this for a fact, and this is just through my insiders, the people that I have. I can't use their names, obviously, because they didn't want to go on record. But
can't reveal your sources.
My sources. The reason why this is taking so long is because you had a really, really large company by the name of BioReference Labs that just recently secured all of the COVID-19 testing that is going to be done by the NFL for the players. This is basically old school politics, grease my palms, and I will make sure that you win this contract because this contract is going to make you a lot of money. So this is exactly what's happening behind the scenes right now. The NFL is making sure that they take care of their constituents so their constituents can return to make money off of them. That's just how it works in this world. It's not about what you know. It's about who you know. So BioReference Labs is literally the company that's going to be performing all of these COVID-19 testing to all these NFL players and their staffs.
Yeah, I got to tell you, man, Roger Goodell, more than any other commissioner, seems like the guy who makes all of his business deals in a room with leather chairs, mahogany walls, and a glass of scotch over a fireplace. Like, I'm telling you.
Nowadays you got to be careful. Look at my owner, Woody Johnson's getting in trouble for doing stuff like that.
Yeah, that's right. I did see that.
Woody Johnson became the ambassador to the UK for President Donald Trump, and now all of a sudden he's in trouble because he has meetings with guys only and doesn't allow women and talks crap about. Man, it's all look at me. In life, it's always all about who you know. That's all it is.
Yep.
This is a who you know situation, Marcus.
The relationship would always supersede the transaction.
Absolutely, without question. But I'm glad the NFL is at least trying to get in that direction to figure out. They still have a lot of time. They do some derelict of the day situations. That whole idea about playing football for 60 minutes plus overtime and not being able to switch jerseys is the dumbest shit I've ever heard of in my life.
Just to bring up that point was stupid.
Dumb.
Derelict.
That was a dumb
derelict.
Fucking derelict.
We need to listen to me. You know how everybody got donkey of the day? We need to do derelict of the day. Like seriously. Like Marcus,
every Friday.
At least once a week.
Every Friday we'll pick a derelict of the week.
Jesus Christ. What idiots. And now we're gonna get into the NBA and we got great news. King Zion, Prince Zion, the guy that's been dunking on kids since he was tiny tots, literally is back in the NBA bubble going through the quarantine situation. So we want to make sure that Zion's going to be there for that push to try to make the playoffs in the NBA bubble down at Mickey Mouse's house over there in Orlando.
He's back in the bubble, but did they have to test him and all that? Like, obviously they had to test him.
He's going to get the fastest test ever.
Yeah,
he'll get one like a 10-minute test, honestly, and it'll be more accurate than any of the tests that we can ever take. But yeah, he's gonna have to quarantine for a bit. They'll test him up, but he'll be ready to go by next game.
Now all of a sudden they're saying he has to quarantine for 4 days. Yo, what happened to 14
what happened
days?
To 14?
Right. It's Zion, man. They got to get the product on the floor. This is money to be made now.
I told you it's all about who you know. If that shit was like some little like no-name guard or power forward, they wouldn't give two shits.
He would have been in quarantine for 3 weeks.
Right.
Yeah, stay stuck in there. We don't care. But no, the NBA is coming back. That's going to be really good. I forgot. I said the Bucks. Who did you say, Marcus, that was going to win again? Was it
what?
The whole thing. Didn't you say Houston?
Yeah, that's because I said I would like to see Westbrook make it to the.
And who did you go with, Cam?
I went with the Lakers. I originally had the Bucks, but have changed heart over the course of this pandemic. But I recently just made a future bet on the 76ers, so I wouldn't mind them winning as well.
You know what I'm going to do right now? I'm going to put everybody on the spot. Give me your sleeper pick, Cam. You start.
My sleeper pick? Oh, boy. My sleeper pick is the Denver Nuggets.
My sleeper pick is the Miami Heat. So the last topic for episode 70 is basically the MLS bubble and how the MLS bubble did a better job of negotiating the quality of their food than the NBA did. Because the NBA came out and they just started complaining from jump. They weren't happy. The food looked like crap. This, that, and third, blah, 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 blah. Shout out to John Morant and some of the other NBA players that was like, look, man, cut this out, man. This ain't that bad. Why y'all making it seem like that? We just want to come out here and food. But to the MLS, it's crazy. The amount of food that they're taking in, Marcus Mack. Please read those numbers off because those numbers are insane.
I don't even have it up no more, but I remember that. I know they was making about 5,000 meals a day.
Dude, they're making, listen, they're taking 14,000 pounds of chicken as of this Monday, 7,000 pounds of seafood, and 2,500 pounds of bacon.
7,000 pounds of seafood, man. You know seafood's a hot commodity right now. Yo, in that bubble, man.
Not for nothing. I made a seafood mac last week. I think I spent maybe about $80 on the ingredients. For real.
There you go. You said forget Prime 112. I'm just gonna do it over here, huh?
Fuck it. Yeah, I'm gonna do it my way.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact.
But listen, you know what? The MLS also shout out to them because I didn't even know this because I thought that, you know, you're in the bubble, you're not going to have access to certain things. Dude, they have access to the delivery stuff like Postmate, delivery dudes, Uber Eats. They're getting Chipotle orders, all types of shit. So the MLS on the low actually negotiated a better food plan deal than the mighty NBA.
I thought they weren't able to do that because wasn't one of those players got like he had a quarantine because he went to go.
It's all negotiated. So I guess the NBA didn't do a good enough job of negotiating that part.
Okay.
Yeah, they gotta have a system set in place or something for, you know, the zones like how the bubble has the zones. Yeah. Like, you know, the food comes in. Let's just say you got Postmates, Uber Eats, DoorDash, whatever the case may be. They come with the food, and it goes through a process. But then it's like you're dealing with food. What are you gonna do? Disinfect food? But no, wait. No. They said that the hotel that they in, those are people that's making the food too, right?
Right. No, and of course, the people that are in the hotel are the ones making the foods for them, but they also have access to stuff that the NBA players don't have access to. Like, so for example, when that guy gets in trouble for ordering the food and he goes past a certain line, the MLS players, they don't have to do that. They can order food and the food is then brought to them.
Got you. Go right to their hotel room or something.
There's a buffer like Marcus Mack was saying. So they go and they deliver the food to that place, and then that place brings them that food because that place is already still inside the clean zone, I guess it's called.
Got you. Okay. It's like a little biodome situation they got going. They fucking spray your food down with pesticides.
Great word of putting that, the biodome.
The NBA's bubble has proven to be foolproof. I can't even lie. 100% negative testing.
It's pretty amazing, man. Everyone, you know what's funny is that we all joked around and we were like, because baseball was like the first sport we kept saying, like, how are we going to play this? How are we going to play this? And someone mentioned, I forgot who it was, like, let's just put everyone in a bubble. And we were just shitting all over them. And then Adam Silver was like, let me just fucking do that. And now we're commending the NBA for doing that. So it's kind of funny to see that.
Yeah, absolutely, without question. But the reality of it is they put them in a bubble, but the only sport that has like punishment or disciplinary issues, like rules and shit, is the NBA. Every other sport don't have that. They don't have an anonymous hot call line to snitch on each other. The NHL don't have that. MLS don't have that. MLB don't have that. The only league that has that is the NBA. You want to know why? Because they know 100% that the NBA players are all going to break the rules if you don't have
that. Yes, that. And not only that, but look at the amount of players and the type of players who have already contracted coronavirus in the past. Rudy Gobert, Kevin Durant. Like, there's been some big names guys that even I think it was AD even almost caught it, and they just didn't release his name. They just said 2 players on the Lakers. So if they're going to protect their money, they need to put those rules into place because, like you said, they're not going to follow them otherwise.
You give those NBA players an inch, and they will fly thoughts into Disney World on like pigeon messengers.
Did you just say thought? Did you just say thoughts?
Yeah, they will fly thoughts, like literally straight thoughts.
There will be thoughts flying in there on Aladdin's carpet.
Yeah.
For real.
There's just a
You'll
2.5
be like,
hour.
no. She's Princess Jasmine. She's okay. She's Ariel.
Yeah, she's good. She's good.
South Florida is only 2.5 hours away. There's plenty of thoughts to be heading out to Orlando, man.
Listen, I just want to enjoy the rest of the weekend with the rest of the sports going on. We got a whole bunch of sports coming on next week. The NBA, NHL, Major League Baseball is going. MLS is still going strong. We got sports coming back, and I'm excited. The only thing that we need to very, very secure, Cam, for me and you, for betting and gambling purposes, and all the great content that's going to come, we need college football, and we need the NFL. Because if you don't give me college football or you don't give me the NFL, I'm going to pop a brain vessel in my head. Seriously.
Yeah, I'm gonna crawl into it.
Well, that's going to conclude episode 70 of the EAC Show. I'm Emilio A. Colon. That's Marcus Mack, the big one, Cameron Denton. We really do appreciate you joining us for episode 70 of the EAC Show. Make sure you click, like, subscribe on all podcast platforms and on YouTube. Marcus Mack, send us off, buddy.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, see you guys on episode 71. Speculation talk over.
Yellow NBA bubble snitch line. Go ahead. You saw J.R. Smith with how much Hennessy? No, I just didn't know it came by the gallon. You saw Kuzma taking a selfie where? Well, he knows he can't be there. Taco's doing bike tours? Huh. How do I get in on that? Wait, someone's deadlifting in their room at 3 a.m.? Someone's running suicides in the hallways? Someone's doing box jumps in the conference room? Give me Jimmy Butler's room number right now, please. All the blue check marks are down? Well, can't you just use your burner? Yeah. Sure you don't. Okay, we'll get right on that. Thank you. Hey, did you know the Wizards are here? No. Mr. Smith should not be sharing his soup with any assistant coaches. No. Coach Pop is scouting Tigger? Yes, and Mr. Waiters should not be sharing his gummy bears. Giannis was making threes at practice? That is terrifying. No, absolutely not. No flu games. No. I know that Jordan did it. Yes. Yeah. Look, you're going to have to figure out a different way to become the GOAT, okay? We cannot rename the ride It's a Flat World. Wait, are you even in the bubble? Austin Rivers prank calling your room sounds like a family issue to me. Is there any way we could get a dedicated Lakers line? Yes, but fighting Goofy isn't against the rules, so I think the Lopez brothers are probably clear on this one. No, we do not advise listening to anything Kelly Oubre says. The Patriots are doing what? Yeah. This is the NBA snitch line. That's a different number. Are you sure it was Boban? I don't even know why I asked that. Guys, we've got a code orange over here. Code orange, LeVar Ball sighting, Sector 4. Just 1 second here. Just grab something okay. John Morant took how many juice boxes now? Patrick Beverley's charging how much for white teas? It's actually a steal. Apple time. I'm sorry, was there a violation you'd like to report? Hello? Is anybody there? Kawhi? Press 2 if it's Kawhi. As long as you catch him in the act, we'll take it. Hey, can I call you back? I've got a package from Chris Paul on its way here.
Oh, sugar honey iced tea. It's the EAC Show.